1075 The Game Podcasting is sponsored by Modern Exterminating, a family-oriented company. Professional, honest, and dependable pest control solutions. We're your one-stop shop for all pests.
You know, 2000 and 2001 were epically special years because it showed South Carolina could be competitive in this league. And up until that point, it had been a question. You got one, as I pointed out, you got one bowl win in your entire history in 95, and things didn't take off under Brad Scott. And there was a lot of talent on those teams. Lou Holtz was left with a lot of talent. There was just a lot of injuries in 99, but there was a lot of talent. And he molded them and got them going. And not only did he get them going, he got the fan base going as well. And the fan base started to believe, all right, if we do this, if we do that, we can be winners. And obviously that was followed upon Steve Spurrier, who said we can be more than winners. We can compete for championships around here. And it was the growth of the South Carolina football program that they're trying to find their way back to this day, and looking at Shane Beamer right now going, all right, I need the energy and the excitement that you brought during that early Lou Holtz segment.
And I think it's unfortunate in the tributes and stuff that I've seen pouring out about Lou Holtz in the past 24 hours. And obviously locally here, we focus on his time at South Carolina because that's the most significant to us. But nationally, of course, he's thought of more as the Notre Dame coach, won the national championship there and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like a lot of them aren't even mentioning his time here at South Carolina. And I get it. Winning a national championship is the greatest prize in the sport. But that turnaround that he did from 98 into the early 2000s to go from winning one game to no games to winning back-to-back New Year's Day bowl games is one of the best turnarounds in the history of the sport. And I think it's getting overshadowed a little bit with all the other things he's done in his career, which he's done a lot. College Football Hall of Famer, and rightfully so. But I was watching one of the tributes last night from ESPN, and it's 4 minutes long, and they mentioned every other stop that he'd been at, with the exception of South Carolina. And I do think it's a shame that some people out there maybe are not getting the story of what he did at South Carolina when talking about his legacy.
Last night over at Founders Park, South Carolina wins 4-1, so that's not a run ruling, as some of y'all said. I don't. Tyler, I said it earlier, and as soon as I went to say it, I tried to stop myself, and then I said it anyway, but it's just a disappointment of what we're discussing. I said South Carolina, the win last night, we're trying to baby step our way back to, and then I paused and I was like, respectability. And that's kind of the unfortunate situation that South Carolina's in, and they're just going to have to win they're just going to have to win games to draw everybody back. I don't think there's a margin of victory you can have where people are like, oh, okay, I'm back on board. It's just people are going to probably zone out, and it's not until you take 2 or 3 from Florida and maybe win one against Arkansas, and I can't remember, Mississippi State, I think it's next on the list, and you're like,
Georgia.
Okay,
yeah, Georgia at the end of the month.
So those 3 to start?
Florida, Arkansas, Georgia. Okay. That's first 3.
Yeah, you come out of those and you're like 5-4, or even 4-5.
Okay.
And people go, oh, all right, we're in this thing. That's like what it's going to take.
Hey, the month of March sets the tone for everything, right? And people are pretty down right now, and I get it, considering the games they've lost, how they lost to Clemson over the weekend, and all that. And as we've talked about, there's nothing you can do against Upstate, against Charleston Southern, 3 games against Princeton, or the midweek against Citadel last week that's going to change people's opinions of what they've seen of this team so far. And if you run a roll every team, great. That's what you're supposed to do. If you're in a nail biter, it's like, well, better to win than lose.
South Carolina's women will start their defense of the SEC championship tomorrow, Tyler. 12 o'clock, we'll have the coverage for you beginning at 11:30 right here on 107.5 The Game with the pregame show, 12 o'clock tip-off. 12 o'clock tip-off, which means we will be off tomorrow as they will take on Kentucky in the, what did you say, quarterfinals?
And, Kentucky played them tight over the weekend, but, again, Dawn didn't seem too concerned about it yesterday when she talked to the media, and they'll have a quasi-home field advantage playing up the road in Greenville. So we expect them to handle the business. It gets tougher as the weekend goes along. Again, if everything stays the same as far as the brackets go, you'll have LSU on Saturday and then potentially Texas or Vanderbilt on Sunday in the championship if you're able to make it that far. So, again, it's going to be a tough test. We talked to Wellbaum this morning from Gamecock Central, and he thinks no matter what, they're going to be a number 1 seed. But having a couple more wins to bolster that certainly wouldn't hurt, again, you've got even bigger fish to fry coming up with the NCAA tournament in a couple weeks.